Okay, so I go back and I'm looking out the window, and the mama bird is calling and she's chirping and she's making all kinds of noise, and she's calling to the little birds to come out, and they're just having a great time. They're in there chirping and tweeting, and gosh, they even got on Facebook. So mama was calling them out, and it was time for them to leave. So one baby, finally, he took off with the mama. He just, mama flew away, and that one little guy, he just jumped right out of the nest and flew after her, and they flew off over into the neighbor's yard. But one little bird, he would not leave, right? He did not want to leave his nest. I think he was scared. He just sat there and he sat there and he was oh so very quiet. And the mama bird came back, and she landed on the little chain, and she just stood there and she chirp, 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 and she'd look down inside the nest and call and chirp, 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 and she'd look down in the little nest and call, but the little baby bird would not come out. And she was saying, come out, it's time, let's go. And he just hunkered way down low. So I watched this going on for a while, and then finally I got out there and I stood on my little wooden box, and I got right up into that nest, and I looked at that baby bird right in the nose, eye to eye, beak to beak, and I said, listen here, little fella, it's time to go. It's moving day. You were never meant to stay in this tiny little nest. It's too small for you. Look at this place. It's filthy, and you've outgrown it. Hit the road. Besides, God gave you wings. You're so lucky. You should use your wings and go fly and explore the world. It's a big place out there. Well, that little bird looked me right in the eye. Beep, beep. And he hunkered down, and he said, no, I'm not going. So I walked back into the house, and I was sitting on the couch. I think I was drinking a cup of coffee, looking at the nest. Mama bird came back, and she left, and she came back, and she called out, beep, 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 beep. And she looked down in the nest, and she looked down in the nest, and she called out, and then she flew away. All of a sudden, that little baby bird started rustling around in that nest, and the little leaves were dropping. He was banging off, the flower petals were dropping out of the basket, and with a big pop, a flurry, that little guy just popped right out of that nest, and he flew away as though he'd been flying for years. He knew just what he was doing. And that's my story. That was the end. He finally took off and flew away. And then Buscia went over to the hanging basket, and I took my rubber gloves because it was yucky, and I cleaned out that dirty old stinky nest, and I got a big can of water, and I gave my flowers a big drink, and today they're all nice and plump and juicy and all looking healthy again. And who knows where those baby birds are? I think they're flying all around the world. Maybe they're going to fly to your house to see you. What do you know about that? I just thought you might like that story. The end.